Every technology had its pioneers, not simply the people who built it, but those who asked questions no one else had thought to ask. The story of solar power spanned nearly 2 centuries and was shaped by generations of scientists and engineers, each solving a different piece of an extraordinary puzzle. It began in 1839, not inside a modern research institute, but in a small laboratory in Paris. Steam engines were transforming industry, and electricity remained little more than a scientific curiosity. Inside his father's laboratory, 19-year-old French physicist Edmond Becquerel was experimenting with metal electrodes immersed in an electrolyte solution when he noticed something unexpected. Whenever sunlight shone on his experiment, the electrical current increased. Somehow, light was producing electricity. Becquerel had just made the first recorded observation of what would later become known as the photovoltaic effect. He could observe the phenomenon, but he had no way to explain it. The physics simply did not exist yet. More than 60 years later, another young scientist challenged the foundations of physics. His name was Albert Einstein. For centuries, scientists had debated the true nature of light. Einstein proposed something revolutionary. Light did not behave only as a wave, it also traveled in tiny packets of energy called photons. His explanation of photoelectric effect revealed how light could transfer energy directly to electrons. Although the photoelectric effect differed from the photovoltaic effect used in solar cells, Einstein's work provided a quantum foundation needed to understand how light interacted with matter. Suddenly, Becquerel's mysterious observation no longer seemed impossible to explain. The next breakthrough came almost by accident. Inside Bell Laboratories, engineer Russell Hall was studying unusually impure silicon crystals when one of them behaved in an unexpected way. One side carried an excess of electrons, while the other carried electron deficiencies. Where the two regions met, an electric field naturally formed. Without realizing it, Hall had discovered the silicon-p-n junction, the microscopic boundary that would become the heart of nearly every modern solar cell. That discovery paved the way for Bell Laboratories' next achievement. In 1954, engineers Darrell Chapin, Calvin Fuller, and Gerard Pearson combined Hall's discovery with advances in semiconductor engineering to create the world's first practical silicon cell. For the first time, a solar cell produced enough electricity to power real electrical equipment. The modern photovoltaic era had begun. The science had finally worked, but the economics had not. Early solar cells remained extraordinarily expensive and found their place almost exclusively aboard satellite. Then the oil crisis in the 1970s changed the world's priorities. Engineer Elliot Berman redesigned the manufacturing process, dramatically reducing production costs while maintaining performance. Solar technology gradually became practical and beyond space exploration. As manufacturing costs fell, researchers turned their attention to efficiency. At the University of New South Wales, Martin Green and his research team developed the passivated emitter and rare cell or PERC technology. By reflecting more light back into the silicon instead of allowing it to escape, the design significantly increased the amount of electricity each cell could produce. It became one of the most influential innovations in photovoltaic history. By the beginning of the 21st century, scientists had largely solved the problem of efficiency and affordability. The final challenge was scale. Shi Zhengrong, one of Martin Green's former students, founded Suntech Power and helped transform solar manufacturing through mass production. Gigafactories, global supply chains, and relentless cost reduction drove the price of solar electricity down by more than 90%. What had once been one of the most expensive ways to generate electricity had become one of the cheapest. The history of solar power had never been written by one inventor. It had been written by generations of scientists and engineers, each contributing one crucial piece to a puzzle that transformed sunlight from a scientific curiosity into one of humanity's fastest growing sources of energy.